Hi everyone. So I'm taking a different route here. I thought I'd make this series where I don't have many edits or visual effects, and specifically and by edits I mean specifically with how I speak, how I present myself. I mean, you're gonna see a few, but what you're listening to right now, what you see before you, is my authentic self, my my current self. And I'm gonna dub this series Izzy Uncut. So this first episode that uh, the topic I wanted to discuss was humanity first. What does it mean to be humanity first? And this is the ideology that presidential candidate Andrew Yang emphasizes on throughout his campaign, throughout his book, The World Normal People, and just in general in his personal life, and and to others. So yeah, what is the meaning of humanity first? And from my perspective, I believe it has to do with taking the initiative. And if you see someone that is in dire straits and desperate need, you extend your hand, you help them out, and you don't just push them off to the side, and just let them right away just get worse. And unfortunately, that's how it is nowadays. People have become so self-centered, and not really caring about others, even though they claim to. And they're essentially like DC, the people down in Washington DC that Andrew Yang has encountered, where they essentially procrastinate quite a lot, more or less on people's lives, and various other issues. And the only time they take action is at the last minute. And it's been going on for years, and a lot of innocent people have been completely damaged and broken, or ended up dying. And no one really seems to care. No one has really step up and done something about it. They just talk about spreading awareness. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that's not humanity first. And if you say it is, you are only fooling yourself. You're fooling me and everyone anyone who actually takes this message very seriously and practices it as much as they can, rather than just live in the moment. So and I mean, I'm not so sure if his supporters have applied the ideology of humanity first in their lives, but more so because of Yang and his presence and and his emphasis on the message, on the issue. I mean, what if he wasn't around? Uh, what if there was no Andrew Yang? I mean, would you still be about human? Would you still be about humanity first? Would you still um, help someone who's in distress, or if you see someone with their head down and they're crying their eyes out, will you actually step up and help them? Will you, when you speak to them, will you talk to them like a person, or uh, a patient? Or will you say things? Are you going to say things that you get um, off of a script, or a fortune cookie? Things like, it's going to get better. Oh, you poor thing. Um, things like that. They're dismissive, generic, don't really help much. And these people have heard it thousands of times, and they're sick of it. And they want someone to take action. They want someone to help them. And this is what baffles me, and what's been going on for a while. And that is, for some reason, when it comes to helping others, when it comes to giving proper care, being accommodating, and if someone reaches out, you do everything you can to make sure they're in the best health, they're in the best environment to heal, or to possibly rebuild themselves. For some reason, people in this society act like that's some sort of ordeal, like that's an inconceivable or impossible challenge. And they just can't do it. They're too preoccupied. Or they'll do it, like I said, at the very last minute, when the person's getting ready to jump, and that's when they'll step in. But they get all frantic, and they go, how can I help this person? How can I do this or that? And yet, when it comes to destroying someone, or punishing, silencing someone who, I guess, strikes a nerve or gets frustrated, they'll waste no time just putting restrictions on them, and shaming them and all this other stuff, or even writing up probation letters, and all this other stuff, calling the cops on them. Half a second, at most a week. And I mean, and my thing is, like, why can't it be the other way around? Why can't they be this quick and efficient when it comes to actually benefiting another person's life? Why does that have to be so hard? And I want to tell you a bit of a little story. I know a good friend of mine up in Canada, who we're practically we're so alike. And I mean, when I mean alike, I'm talking it is as if we're the same person, but in alternate parallel universes. That's what it seems like. We practically taught the same, almost look the same. And our traumatic experiences, the people that have destroyed us and the communities the toxic communities we've been in, they're eerily similar. And we're 7 years apart. And I know that she'd gone through so much, she was messed up so much that there were a lot of times where she tried to end it. And, people just kept saying the same stuff, like, oh, you poor thing. Like, oh, I wish we could help you, but unfortunately, and they give, the people that she relied on gave all these lists of excuses as to why they couldn't get her out of that toxic environment. And they essentially wasted her time. And luckily enough, she reached out to the French community. And, the moment, once she was able to assimilate to the culture and speak the language fluently, she reached out to them, told them about her situation, and they actually got her out of there like that. It's like pretty quickly. It was like a few days, maybe up to a week. And that's what I was talking about before. About when I mean quick efficiency. And doing it to benefit someone's life. I mean, they did that. The French. I mean, that's what happened. And here's the other thing. And this is pretty important. So, when it was time for my friend to be transported, she was actually going to a French care home, or a care home in the French community. And unfortunately, her care worker was unavailable to have her, sent over to the care home. However, she made an exception, and what she did, she actually reached out to the Irish community and had someone there pick my friend up and have her get transferred over. Despite their differences, despite them being pretty divided or segregated, whatever, not being any of that, but more reserved and stuff. They made an exception for my friend's sake, for her well-being, for her health, because what matters was her safety, because she was going to die. She wasn't going to live much longer if she were to stay in that environment. And they didn't they didn't give her excuses, say, oh, sorry, but something came up and we won't be able to move you over here, so you're gonna have to wait several months, just until something comes up. They didn't do that. All right, they made an exception. There was always a plan B, and this caretaker, she actually she reached out. Like I said, she has someone from the Irish community pick her up. And even her counselor actually went up to the prime minister. This is before being transferred over and all that. Her counselor actually went up to the prime minister and told him that if you don't help this individual get out, my friend, get out of this place and into somewhere where she can be able to heal, she's going to die. She literally said that. And this was her counselor, beyond standard policy. And I feel that is humanity first. The true depiction of humanity first. And there was no Andrew Yang. There was no Yang Gang or War on People, none of that. Just individuals with common sense and a common goal. And those with a conscience and conviction. They what mattered was my friend's health. That was their top priority. And I always say that your health should be your first priority, more than anything. And I mean, they didn't just say that, okay? They put that into practice. They took the initiative. And this is what I've been searching for here in America, here in Western society. And unfortunately, I haven't seen it. Usually it's if anything, it's like it's pretty selective or conditional. Like, say if a person has cancer, or if they, if they're an elderly person with a severe medical condition or severe medical or physical disability, then people will automatically they will set up GoFundMe's for them, get their story going viral. Even women who are who have been assaulted or are overseas and stuff like that. People have done that automatically. It's like, hey, let's set up this. Let's give them the proper funds for them to get the care that they need. Let's spread this story. Let's get it around. Let's start telling others what's going on, because this is unacceptable. That's what they did. They took the initiative. So why can't they do it for someone like my friend? Because instead, they just shrugged it off when it came to her. They thought, because she looked fine, that she was. They took it at face value. The average, spectators and citizens or whatever, residents, they were pretty dismissive of her situation, her pain, because the argument, there's always the argument that, oh, everyone's going through something, and that may be true, but shouldn't that give you more incentive to do something to actually help others? Because it appears that it's merely just an excuse to be negligent, to be indifferent and condescending or whatever. And I don't, and like Andrew, that's not something I'm willing to accept. That is not humanity first, and that is not how people should be treating each other. And this is what I'm looking for in it. And I hope that if anyone out there is watching this video, I hope you really take this, take these words to heart, and you really consider them, and because this has gone on for too long, and like I said, no one deserves to suffer like this. And had the English speakers in Canada, had they done more for my friend, had they got her out, away from her, her, her narcissistic parents slash abusers. Much sooner, she probably would have been able to make something out of herself, start a business, travel the world, meet people, just enjoy life, have her happy ending. But unfortunately, she's not that important. And she had to look elsewhere just to get the help that she deserved. And that's not how it should be. But I just wanted to let you know that, I mean, that's my full interpretation of, well, actually, true depiction of what Humanity First is all about. And I really hope you all put this into practice in your lives, and hopefully starting now, because you don't need money, you don't need permission to be or faith to be a good person, to do the right thing. Because like you said, you've been through it, we've all been through it, so let's help each other out. Enough is enough. It is time to break the cycle.